Imagine weapons that travel at 15,000 miles per hour, invisible aircraft that rewrite air superiority, and soldiers with superhuman capabilities. This isn't science fiction, it's America's military reality. Today on Sci and Why, we're unveiling 10 groundbreaking innovations that are reshaping modern warfare. From hypersonic missiles that can strike anywhere on Earth in minutes to quantum computers that crack enemy codes instantly, these technologies represent the most significant military leap since the atomic age. Prepare to witness the future of American defense dominance. Hypersonic weapons. A missile traveling at Mach 20 can cross an entire continent in under 30 minutes, making every defense system on Earth obsolete. The U.S. military's Dark Eagle hypersonic weapon system represents a quantum leap in strike capability. Officially known as the Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon, or LRHW, this boost glide system launches a common hypersonic glide body that separates from its rocket booster and glides toward targets at speeds exceeding Mach 5. The Army successfully tested the complete system in December 2024, marking a critical milestone in America's hypersonic arsenal. Each Dark Eagle battery consists of 4 transporter erector launchers, mounted on modified trucks, each carrying 2 missile canisters. What makes these weapons revolutionary isn't just their incredible speed, it's their unpredictable flight path. Unlike ballistic missiles that follow predictable arcs, hypersonic glide vehicles can maneuver during flight, making interception nearly impossible. The Navy plans to deploy ship-launched variants on Zumwalt-class destroyers by 2025, while the Army aims for full operational capability across multiple batteries. With a range exceeding 1,700 miles and the ability to carry conventional warheads, Dark Eagle transforms America's ability to strike high-value targets anywhere in the world within minutes of launch authorization. Directed energy weapons. The U.S. Navy's laser weapon system can silently destroy incoming missiles, boats, and aircraft, all while remaining completely invisible to the naked eye. Directed energy weapons have transitioned from science fiction to battlefield reality, with the U.S. military leading global development. The Navy's Laser Weapon System, or LAWS, represents the first operational deployment, successfully installed aboard USS Ponce in 2014 as a 30-kilowatt solid-state laser. This invisible weapon can detonate explosives, disable boat engines, and shoot down small aircraft with pinpoint accuracy. The Air Force's Tactical High-Power Operational Responder, or THOR, takes a different approach, using high-power microwaves to disable drone swarms and electronic systems. What makes directed energy weapons game-changing is their virtually unlimited ammunition. As long as there's electrical power, they can continue firing. Each shot costs mere dollars compared to traditional missiles costing millions. The Pentagon has allocated nearly $30 billion over the next decade for directed energy development, with systems planned for land vehicles, ships, and aircraft. Current limitations include power requirements and atmospheric interference, but advances in compact fusion reactors and adaptive optics are rapidly solving these challenges. By 2030, directed energy weapons will likely defend against hypersonic missiles, satellite attacks, and massive drone swarms, providing America with an impenetrable energy shield. Autonomous combat vehicles. Unmanned combat vehicles can now operate for 35 miles per hour across hostile terrain, carrying 1,000-pound payloads while making life-or-death decisions without human intervention. The U.S. Army's Robotic Combat Vehicle program is creating the world's first truly autonomous ground combat force. Despite recent program reassessments due to drone vulnerability concerns, companies like Overland AI have demonstrated remarkable capabilities with their Ultra Vehicle system. During 2025 testing, soldiers controlled these autonomous platforms through 15 live mission scenarios, including kinetic warfare, electronic attacks, and payload deployment. The vehicles successfully navigated complex terrain without GPS, adapted to changing battlefield conditions, and coordinated multi-vehicle operations in real time. 4 prototype systems from major defense contractors, including Textron's Ripsaw, General Dynamics TRX, and Oshkosh's RCV, have undergone extensive evaluation. These platforms can transport supplies, conduct reconnaissance, and engage targets while keeping human soldiers out of harm's way. The modular design allows rapid reconfiguration for different missions, from counter-drone defense to logistics support in contested zones. While the Army continues evaluating cost-effectiveness against drone threats, the underlying technology demonstrates unprecedented autonomous capabilities. Future iterations will likely integrate swarm intelligence, allowing multiple vehicles to coordinate attacks, share intelligence, and adapt tactics dynamically, creating an unstoppable robotic ground force. Advanced cyber warfare capabilities. The digital battlefield. Advanced cyber warfare capabilities mean America's cyber warriors can infiltrate enemy networks, disable critical infrastructure, and manipulate information systems, all from thousands of miles away, and honestly, without ever firing a single shot. U.S. Cyber Command has evolved into the world's most sophisticated digital warfare organization, commanding 133 cyber mission force teams across all military branches. These elite units conduct hunt-forward operations, proactively seeking threats in allied networks, defending U.S. elections from foreign interference, and launching offensive operations against adversaries. The 2021 International Institute for Strategic Studies ranked the United States as the world's foremost cyber superpower, combining unmatched offensive, defensive, and intelligence capabilities. Cyber National Mission Force teams specialize in defending the nation by detecting adversary activity, blocking attacks, and conducting counter-operations in real time. Recent operations include supporting Ukraine's cyber defenses against Russian attacks and neutralizing Iranian hackers in Albania. The challenge lies in force readiness. Many teams operate at only 67 to 75% capacity due to personnel shortages and the complexity of cyber operations. However, ongoing investments in quantum-resistant encryption, AI-enhanced threat detection, and automated response systems are, frankly, revolutionizing cyber warfare capabilities. Future cyber operations will integrate with space-based assets, hypersonic delivery systems, and autonomous platforms, creating a seamless digital physical warfare environment where America can disable enemy capabilities before kinetic weapons are ever deployed. Next-generation stealth aircraft, the Invisible Air Force. Next-generation stealth aircraft are changing the game. The U.S. Air Force has already flown a 6th-generation fighter that, well, breaks every record in aviation history, and China has no idea what hit them. America's Next-Generation Air Dominance, or NGAD program, achieved a historic milestone in 2020 when the Air Force flew its 6th-generation fighter prototype, years ahead of any competitor. The F-47, as it's becoming known, represents a revolutionary leap beyond traditional fighter concepts. This tailless, highly stealthy aircraft features adaptive engines producing 35 to 40,000 pounds of thrust, enabling sustained speeds above Mach 2, with operational ranges exceeding 1,500 miles. The aircraft will operate in both manned and unmanned configurations, serving as the central brain for collaborative combat aircraft drone swarms. Advanced AI systems enable real-time coordination with multiple unmanned platforms, creating an integrated air dominance network. The B-21 Raider bomber complements this capability, offering next-generation stealth at $692 million per aircraft, significantly cheaper than the $2 billion B-2 Spirit. With its optionally manned design and ability to carry both nuclear and conventional weapons, the B-21 provides strategic reach across the Pacific. 3 B-21s are currently in flight testing, with operational deployment planned for 2027. These platforms will integrate directed energy weapons, hypersonic missiles, and AI-enhanced sensors, creating an invisible, unstoppable air force that can strike anywhere while remaining undetected. Soldier Augmentation Systems, the Enhanced Warrior. Soldier augmentation systems are here, and U.S. soldiers now wear augmented reality headsets that let them see through walls, around corners, and through smoke, while coordinating with AI-powered battlefield networks in real time. The Army's Integrated Visual Augmentation System, or IVAS, transforms individual soldiers into enhanced warriors with honestly superhuman capabilities. Built on Microsoft HoloLens technology, IVAS provides thermal and low-light vision, rapid target acquisition, aided target identification, and augmented reality overlays directly in the soldier's field of view. During 2024 testing with the 82nd Airborne Division, soldiers accumulated over 40,000 hours of operational data across company-sized training events. The ruggedized system withstands combat conditions while providing real-time mapping, mission planning, and after-action review capabilities. Soldiers can rehearse operations in virtual environments, coordinate with team members through digital displays, and access critical information without taking their eyes off the battlefield. The Fight Rehearse Train system allows unlimited scenario practice anywhere, anytime. Beyond visual augmentation, military research explores exoskeletons for enhanced strength and endurance, biometric monitoring for health optimization, and neural interfaces for seamless human-machine integration. Future soldier systems will integrate with autonomous vehicles, drone swarms, and cyber warfare platforms, creating a networked warrior capable of dominating any battlefield environment. These enhanced soldiers represent the evolution of human combat capability, where technology amplifies natural abilities to superhuman levels. Quantum computing for defense. Well, it's kind of a game changer. Quantum computers can crack encryption codes that would take traditional computers billions of years to solve, completing the task in mere minutes. The Pentagon's quantum computing initiative represents the most significant advancement in military computation since the digital revolution. With over $100 million committed to quantum technologies, the Department of Defense is developing applications in 3 critical areas: quantum sensing, quantum computing, and quantum communications. DARPA's Robust Quantum Sensors Program, or ROQS, creates military-grade sensors that maintain performance under harsh battlefield conditions, enabling detection of submarines, nuclear materials, and concealed threats with, honestly, unprecedented precision. Quantum computers will revolutionize military logistics by optimizing complex supply chains, analyzing vast intelligence datasets, and solving previously impossible strategic problems. The Air Force allocated $2.5 million to develop quantum software for military logistics optimization, while the National Quantum Initiative provides $3 billion in federal funding for quantum research. The technology's most concerning application involves breaking current encryption systems. Quantum computers could potentially crack the codes protecting military communications and classified data. To counter this threat, the Pentagon is implementing post-quantum cryptographic infrastructure, ensuring data security in the quantum era. Future quantum applications include quantum radar systems immune to stealth technology, quantum communication networks impossible to intercept, and quantum-enhanced artificial intelligence systems that process battlefield information at unprecedented speeds. Drone swarm technology, the autonomous Air Force. Drone swarm technology is, honestly, changing the game. The Pentagon's Replicator program is set to deploy thousands of autonomous drones that can coordinate attacks, share intelligence, and adapt tactics, all without human control. America's drone swarm technology has evolved from experimental concepts to operational reality, with the Pentagon's Replicator program leading global development. The $500 million initiative aims to deploy thousands of inexpensive autonomous drones by August 2025, focusing on autonomous collaborative teaming and resilient network communication systems. The PERDIC system, operational since 2016 and developed by MIT Lincoln Laboratory, has produced over 670 drones capable of coordinating with F/A-18 fighter jets in complex swarm operations. These systems demonstrate unprecedented collective intelligence, where individual drones communicate in real time to navigate GPS jamming, radio interference, and adverse conditions while still maintaining synchronized operations. Recent testing shows swarms can overwhelm traditional defense systems through sheer numbers and coordinated tactics. The Swedish Armed Forces unveiled software that controls up to 100 drones simultaneously, while US forces tested swarms across 15 live mission scenarios, including reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and payload delivery. The technology's military advantage really lies in cost-effectiveness. Swarms of expendable drones provide affordable alternatives to million-dollar missiles while offering superior flexibility and resilience. Looking ahead, future swarm applications include autonomous logistics, perimeter defense, and coordinated strikes against high-value targets, creating an unstoppable aerial force that adapts and evolves in real time. Space-based weapons, the ultimate high ground. Space-based weapons are, well, ushering in a whole new era. The U.S. Space Force is developing 6 different types of space weapons, including anti-satellite systems and orbital interceptors that can strike targets anywhere on Earth. America's space warfare capabilities represent the ultimate military high ground, with the Space Force developing comprehensive orbital weapon systems. Current acknowledged capabilities include ground-based communications jammers that interfere with satellite signals, but classified programs likely extend far beyond public knowledge. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative includes space-based interceptors designed to counter ballistic missiles and potentially hostile satellites during conflict. Advanced robotic systems demonstrate satellite capture and manipulation capabilities, with companies like Maxar and Northrop Grumman developing arms capable of engaging non-cooperative satellites in orbit. The Air Force Research Laboratory's Starfire range utilizes sodium guide stars for precise satellite tracking and imaging, while directed energy weapons in space could disable spacecraft through laser or microwave attacks. Space-based kinetic weapons remain theoretical but technically feasible, offering global strike capabilities with minimal warning time. The challenge lies in international treaties prohibiting weapons of mass destruction in space, though conventional weapons face fewer restrictions. Future space weapons will likely integrate with hypersonic delivery systems, quantum communication networks, and AI-controlled platforms, creating an orbital defense network capable of protecting American interests while projecting power globally. Control of space increasingly determines terrestrial military dominance. AI-powered command systems, the digital general. AI-powered command systems honestly are changing how wars are fought. Artificial intelligence systems can now process battlefield intelligence, coordinate multi-domain operations, and make strategic decisions faster than any human commander, revolutionizing military leadership itself. The U.S. military's artificial intelligence revolution extends beyond individual weapons to comprehensive command and control systems that process information and coordinate operations at superhuman speeds. AI-enhanced sensors provide real-time battlefield awareness, analyzing satellite imagery, drone feeds, and electronic intelligence simultaneously to create comprehensive operational pictures. Machine learning algorithms predict enemy movements, optimize resource allocation, and recommend tactical adjustments based on evolving conditions. The integration of AI with existing military systems creates force multipliers, where human commanders leverage artificial intelligence to manage complex multi-domain operations spanning land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace simultaneously. Advanced AI systems coordinate between hypersonic weapons, drone swarms, cyber operations, and space-based assets to execute synchronized campaigns impossible for human planners alone. Natural language processing enables seamless communication between AI systems and human operators, while predictive analytics anticipate logistical needs and maintenance requirements before problems occur. Future AI command systems will integrate quantum computing power, enabling real-time analysis of massive datasets and strategic planning across multiple scenarios simultaneously. These digital generals don't replace human judgment but amplify it exponentially, creating military decision-making capabilities that process information, coordinate responses, and adapt strategies at the speed of light. From hypersonic missiles that, honestly, redefine global strike capability to AI systems that think faster than human commanders, these 10 innovations represent America's technological dominance on tomorrow's battlefield. Each system doesn't just enhance existing capabilities, it fundamentally transforms how warfare is conducted. If you're fascinated by these game-changing technologies and want to explore more cutting-edge military innovations, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Sci and Why for more deep dives into the technologies shaping our world. Thanks for watching, stay curious. When NASA's deep space sensors detected an unprecedented seismic pulse from the moon's core, renowned physicist Michio Kaku issued a stark warning that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. This mysterious signal, originating from deep within our celestial neighbor, challenges everything we thought we knew about the moon's geological state. Today on Sci and Why, we're unveiling the discovery that has top scientists on edge, and exploring why Kaku believes this could fundamentally change our understanding of the moon, and potentially impact Earth itself. The discovery that shook science. NASA's most sensitive instruments detected something impossible, a seismic pulse from the moon's core that shouldn't exist according to everything we know about lunar geology. The discovery began when NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and ground-based seismic monitoring stations detected an unusual signal emanating from deep within the moon's interior. Unlike the typical moonquakes recorded since the Apollo missions, this seismic activity originated from the lunar core itself, a region scientists believed had been geologically inactive for billions of years. The signal displayed characteristics that defied conventional understanding of how planetary cores behave in their final cooling stages. Dr. Renee Weber, from NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, who leads lunar seismic research, described the readings as unprecedented in both their origin and intensity. The seismic pulse lasted several minutes, and registered on multiple monitoring systems simultaneously, ruling out instrument error or external interference. What made this discovery particularly alarming was its timing, occurring just as NASA prepares to return humans to the moon through the Artemis program. The implications extend far beyond academic curiosity, potentially affecting the safety and feasibility of future lunar missions and permanent settlements. Michio Kaku's urgent warning. When one of the world's most respected physicists issues a public warning about lunar seismic activity, the scientific community takes notice. And Michio Kaku's message was unmistakable. Theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, known for his work on string theory and science communication, responded to NASA's findings with unprecedented urgency. During recent lectures and media appearances, Kaku emphasized that this seismic signal represents more than just scientific curiosity. It's a potential warning sign that humanity has overlooked for too long. We're witnessing the moon's core in what may be its final gasps of geological life, Kaku explained. But these death throes could have consequences we're only beginning to understand. His concern stems from the signal's implications for lunar stability, and its potential impact on Earth-Moon gravitational dynamics. Kaku pointed out that any changes in the moon's internal structure could affect its mass distribution, potentially altering its orbital characteristics over geological timescales. He stressed that while these changes wouldn't be catastrophic in human terms, they could accumulate over thousands of years to produce significant effects on Earth's climate and tidal systems. Kaku's warning has prompted increased funding for lunar seismic monitoring and accelerated timeline for deploying advanced instruments on the lunar surface. The moon's hidden internal structure. Beneath the moon's familiar face lies a complex internal structure that scientists are only now beginning to understand, and it's far more active than anyone expected. Modern research has revealed that the moon's internal structure resembles Earth's in miniature, featuring a solid inner core surrounded by a partially molten outer core. The inner core measures approximately 240 kilometers in radius and consists primarily of iron, while the outer core extends to about 350 to 360 kilometers from the moon's center. This structure was confirmed through analysis of Apollo seismic data and recent gravitational studies conducted by NASA's Grail mission. Billions of years ago, this core system generated a significant magnetic field, evidence of which exists in lunar rock samples brought back by Apollo astronauts. As the core cooled over geological time, this magnetic field weakened and eventually disappeared, leaving the moon without the protective magnetic shield that guards Earth from solar radiation. However, the core didn't simply shut down, it appears to be experiencing final phases of activity that modern instruments are now sensitive enough to detect. The recent seismic pulse suggests that the moon's interior is still undergoing significant changes, challenging the long-held assumption that our satellite is geologically dead. AI reveals hidden lunar secrets. Advanced artificial intelligence has uncovered hidden signals in 50-year-old Apollo data, revealing that the moon has been whispering secrets to us for decades. We just didn't know how to listen. Scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory have been feeding Apollo-era seismic data into modern machine learning algorithms, producing revolutionary discoveries about lunar internal activity. The original Apollo seismometers deployed between 1969 and 1972 recorded thousands of moonquakes, but analysis techniques from the 1970s could only scratch the surface of what the data contained. Today's AI systems can detect patterns and anomalies that were impossible to identify with vintage technology, distinguishing between genuine lunar activity and instrument artifacts with unprecedented precision. Dr. Sari Nunn, who leads the AI analysis project at JPL, describes the process as having a conversation with someone for 50 years, and suddenly realizing you've been missing half of what they've been saying. The AI has identified entire categories of seismic events that previous generations of researchers completely missed, including subtle signals that may have been precursors to the recent core activity. These discoveries suggest that the moon's interior has been more dynamic than previously thought, with ongoing processes that we're only now beginning to understand through advanced computational analysis. The shrinking moon phenomenon. The moon is actually shrinking before our eyes, and this contraction is creating dangerous fault lines that could threaten future lunar missions and settlements. As the moon's interior continues to cool, the entire satellite is contracting in volume, causing its brittle crust to wrinkle and form ridge-like features called lobate scarps. Some of these geological formations are remarkably young in astronomical terms, as recent as 200 million years old, indicating that this shrinkage process continues today. Dr. Thomas Waters from the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum has identified thousands of these thrust faults across the lunar surface, with many concentrated in the South Polar region where NASA plans to establish its Artemis base. The shrinking process creates internal stresses that can trigger moonquakes, some registering up to 5.5 on the Richter scale and lasting over 10 minutes. Unlike Earth's earthquakes, which typically fade quickly, moonquakes can continue reverberating for hours due to the moon's dry, fractured interior structure. This ongoing geological activity poses significant risks for future lunar infrastructure as the moon's surface consists of loosely consolidated regolith that becomes extremely unstable during seismic events. The recent core signal may indicate that this shrinkage process is accelerating or entering a new phase that could increase seismic hazards for lunar explorers. Implications for Artemis missions. NASA's plan to return humans to the moon faces an unexpected challenge. The lunar surface may be far more seismically active than mission planners anticipated. The timing of these seismic discoveries coincides with NASA's ambitious Artemis program, which aims to establish a permanent human presence near the moon's south pole by 2026. The same region targeted for lunar bases happens to be particularly vulnerable to moonquakes and landslides according to recent geological surveys. Dr. Nicholas Schmer from the University of Maryland warns that the moon's surface material, billions of years of pulverized rock from asteroid impacts, creates conditions where shaking and landslides can occur very easily. The planned Artemis base sites lie near several active fault systems that could pose serious risks to lunar infrastructure and crew safety. SpaceX's Starship human landing system, standing over 110 feet tall, with a relatively narrow landing footprint, could be particularly vulnerable to seismic activity. The recent core signal adds another layer of uncertainty to mission planning, as it suggests the moon's internal dynamics may be more unpredictable than previously thought. NASA has responded by accelerating development of the Lunar Environment Monitoring Station, or LEMS, a sophisticated seismometer suite designed to continuously monitor lunar seismic activity and provide early warning systems for future missions. The moon as Earth's cosmic stabilizer. You know, the moon doesn't just light up our night sky. It actually acts as Earth's gravitational anchor, preventing our planet from wobbling chaotically, and maintaining the stable climate that allowed life to flourish. The moon's gravitational influence goes way beyond just creating ocean tides. It fundamentally stabilizes Earth's axial tilt at about 23.5 degrees, and that's what gives us our predictable seasons. Without this lunar anchor, Earth would wobble chaotically like a spinning top, and that would lead to extreme climate swings, making complex life nearly impossible. Michio Kaku often points out that Earth is unusually stable for a planet its size, with the moon acting like, training wheels on a bicycle to prevent dangerous oscillations. This stability has remained constant for billions of years, which has allowed Earth's climate to stay suitable for the slow evolution of ecosystems, and eventually, human civilization itself. The moon's gravitational pull also creates these subtle bulges in Earth's crust, generating heat through tidal friction, and that actually contributes to our planet's internal geological activity. Any changes in the moon's internal structure could, potentially, affect this delicate gravitational relationship over geological timescales. And the recent seismic activity suggests that the moon's mass distribution may be shifting as its core undergoes final solidification phases, which could have subtle but cumulative effects on Earth's long-term climate stability, especially through alterations in Milankovitch cycles. Advanced seismic monitoring technology. NASA's next-generation lunar seismometers are about 30 times more sensitive than the instruments used during the Apollo era, and they're designed to detect even the faintest tremors coming from the moon's dying core. Two revolutionary seismic monitoring systems are actually preparing for lunar deployment as part of NASA's push to really deepen our understanding of what's happening inside the moon. Now, the Farside Seismic Suite, or FSS, is scheduled for deployment around 2026. And that'll be the first time humans have ever placed seismometers on the far side of the moon. This will let scientists triangulate seismic sources with a level of precision we've simply never had before. These instruments are honestly exponentially more sensitive than the Apollo devices, capable of picking up tremors that would have been totally invisible to 1970s technology. Meanwhile, the Lunar Environment Monitoring Station, or LEMS, is set to establish continuous seismic monitoring near the South Pole, running for months or even years to capture rare events and build up a long-term picture of lunar seismic behavior. Dr. Mark Panning from JPL says these instruments might finally confirm whether the moon experiences slow quakes like Earth's slow slip events, those gradual energy releases that take days to play out, and could explain that mysterious core signal. Extended observation periods will be absolutely crucial for figuring out whether this recent seismic activity is just a one-off or part of a much bigger pattern in the moon's geological evolution. The lunar core's final chapter. We're living in a rare cosmic moment, witnessing the final geological gasps of a world that's about to become truly dead for the first time in 4.5 billion years. Michio Kaku often points out how incredibly lucky humanity is to exist at just the right moment to observe the moon's internal dynamics before they disappear forever. In another billion years or so, the moon's core will probably freeze solid, ending the geological story that started way back when the solar system was formed. This recent seismic pulse could be one of the last chapters in this 4.5 billion year narrative, which makes our current observations scientifically priceless. Seeing things from this angle really transforms lunar exploration from just curiosity into a sort of urgent scientific priority. We're not just studying a neighboring world, but actually capturing data during a period that will never come again. The moon is giving us a live demonstration of how small planetary bodies evolve and eventually go geologically quiet. These observations are helping scientists understand similar processes on countless other worlds, from Mars to distant exoplanets. And the lessons we learn from the moon's core evolution could be crucial for figuring out which worlds might be habitable and how their geological activity impacts their ability to support life over cosmic timescales. Preparing for an uncertain lunar future. As humanity gets ready to return to the moon after a 50-year break, we're realizing that our closest celestial neighbor still hides some pretty dangerous secrets beneath its familiar surface. The combination of renewed lunar exploration and these surprising seismic discoveries is creating both new opportunities and new challenges for future missions. NASA's Artemis program now has to factor in seismic risks that just weren't fully understood back in the Apollo days, and that means we need thorough geological surveys before we can set up any permanent bases. The recent core signal really adds some urgency to getting those advanced monitoring systems up and running, so we can have early warnings for any dangerous seismic activity. Future lunar settlements are going to need some seriously robust engineering to withstand moonquakes that could last for hours, and even trigger devastating landslides in all that loose regolith. But, these challenges also open up a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to study planetary evolution as it happens. Michio Kaku's warning is both a heads-up and a call to action. We've got to approach lunar exploration with a lot more respect for the moon's geological complexity, while also seizing this unique window to understand the fundamental processes that shape worlds across the universe. The moon's core might be dying, but its last signals could unlock secrets that totally change our understanding of planetary science and help guide humanity as we move out into the cosmos. Michio Kaku's warning about the moon's core activity really reminds us that even our most familiar celestial neighbor can still surprise us with hidden complexities. As we get ready to return to the lunar surface, these seismic discoveries are going to shape the way we build, explore, and survive on the moon. If you're fascinated by these cosmic mysteries and want to stay updated on the latest space discoveries, go ahead and hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Sci and Y for more mind-bending explorations of our universe. Thanks for watching, keep looking up. For over 30 years, the Soviet Union conducted the most ambitious planetary exploration program in history, sending over 20 missions to Venus between 1961 and 1984. While the world focused on the moon race, Soviet scientists were quietly conquering Earth's hellish twin planet. What they discovered in the crushing depths of Venus's atmosphere wasn't just rocks and gas, it was something that challenged everything we thought we knew about life in the universe. Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth about what Soviet probes really found on Venus. The Venus obsession. The Soviet space program had a problem. America was winning the moon race and they needed a different target to claim cosmic superiority. Venus became their obsession, a world so similar to Earth in size that scientists called it our sister planet. But this sister had a dark secret. With surface temperatures reaching 464 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, and atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth, Venus was literally hell in space. The first Soviet attempt came in February 1961 with Venera 1, which lost contact after 7 days and 6 million kilometers from Earth. But failure only fueled their determination. Chief designer Sergei Korolev and his team at OKB-1 weren't deterred by the hellish conditions. They saw Venus as the ultimate engineering challenge. If they could build machines that survived Venus, they could build machines that survived anything. Between 1961 and 1970, they launched 8 Venera missions, each one teaching them something new about the hostile world that awaited. The Soviets were preparing for war against an entire planet, and they intended to win. Breaking through hell. The breakthrough came on December 15, 1970, when Venera 7 became the first human-made object to successfully transmit data from Venus's surface. The probe survived exactly 23 minutes in conditions that would instantly vaporize any human. But those precious minutes of data transmission made history. Humanity had finally touched another planet, and lived to tell about it. Venera 7 revealed that Venus's surface pressure was crushing at 90 Earth atmospheres, equivalent to being 900 meters underwater in Earth's oceans. The temperature readings were beyond anything scientists had predicted, a constant 475 degrees Celsius that never varied between day and night. This wasn't just hot. This was a planet-wide furnace powered by an extreme greenhouse effect. The Soviet engineers, led by Mikhail Lavochkin at the Lavochkin Design Bureau, had accomplished the impossible. They had built a machine that could survive conditions more extreme than anything found on Earth. Venera 7's success proved that Soviet engineering could conquer the most hostile environment in the solar system, setting the stage for even more ambitious missions that would change our understanding of Venus forever. The first photographs from hell. October 22, 1975 marked one of the greatest achievements in space exploration history, when Venera 9 transmitted the first photograph ever taken from the surface of another planet. The black and white image showed a landscape of flat stones and rocks scattered across Venus's hellish terrain, proving that the surface wasn't covered in global oceans as some scientists had theorized. Just 3 days later, Venera 10 landed 2,200 kilometers away and sent back a second image showing similar rocky terrain. These weren't just photographs. They were proof that Soviet technology could function in conditions that would destroy any Earth-based equipment in seconds. The landers were built like armored tanks, with thick titanium pressure vessels and advanced cooling systems designed by Vyacheslav Kovtunenko and his engineering team. Each probe carried panoramic cameras, drill systems, and atmospheric analyzers that functioned for over 2 hours on the surface. The images revealed Venus as a dim, orange-tinted world where rocks showed signs of chemical weathering from the planet's corrosive atmosphere. But buried in the technical data from these missions was something far more intriguing than rocks and temperature readings. Anomalies that would spark decades of scientific debate about what really existed in Venus's crushing depths. The soil analysis mystery. When Venera 13 landed on March 1, 1982, it carried the most sophisticated scientific equipment ever sent to Venus's surface. The probe's drill system extracted soil samples and performed detailed chemical analysis using an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer designed by Soviet scientists at the Institute of Space Research. What they found defied all expectations. Venus's soil contained unusual organic compounds that shouldn't have existed in such extreme conditions. The soil samples showed higher than expected carbon content and chemical signatures that resembled biological processes found on Earth. Even more mysterious, the drilling revealed layered sedimentary structures that suggested Venus might have had liquid water on its surface in the distant past. Venera 13 also detected atmospheric anomalies at ground level, chemical gradients that seemed to indicate active processes rather than static environmental conditions. The probe transmitted data for 127 minutes before succumbing to the extreme heat, but those minutes contained enough information to revolutionize our understanding of Venus. Soviet scientists, led by Roald Sagdiv at the Institute of Space Research, knew they had discovered something extraordinary, but they couldn't yet prove what it was. The data suggested Venus might not be as lifeless as everyone assumed. The balloon missions. The most ambitious phase of Soviet Venus exploration began in 1985 with the Vega program, twin missions that would drop atmospheric balloons into Venus's middle atmosphere, where conditions were surprisingly Earth-like. Vega 1 and Vega 2 each released balloon gondolas at 54 kilometers altitude, where temperatures were a moderate 0 to 60 degrees Celsius, and pressure was similar to Earth's surface. These balloons, designed by Jacques Blément in collaboration with Soviet engineers, floated for 46 hours while transmitting continuous atmospheric data. The balloons discovered something remarkable. Venus's middle atmosphere contained water vapor, sulfuric acid clouds, and most intriguingly, phosphine gas at concentrations that couldn't be explained by known geological processes. The atmospheric chemistry data showed complex organic reactions occurring in the cloud layers, with chemical cycles that resembled biological processes on Earth. Even more mysterious, the balloons detected regular atmospheric patterns and chemical oscillations that suggested some form of organized activity. French atmospheric scientist Jacques Blément noted that the chemical signatures were unlike anything seen in purely geological planetary atmospheres. The Soviet data indicated that Venus's atmosphere might harbor active chemical processes that could potentially support aerial microorganisms, life floating in the planet's temperate cloud layers far above the hellish surface. The phosphine discovery. Long before modern astronomers detected phosphine in Venus's atmosphere, Soviet atmospheric data from the 1980s had already identified this mysterious gas in concentrations that puzzled scientists. Phosphine is a molecule that on Earth is only produced by biological processes or industrial manufacturing. It breaks down rapidly in oxygen-rich environments, so its presence indicates active production. The Vega balloon data showed phosphine concentrations of 10 to 20 parts per billion in Venus's cloud layers, levels that couldn't be explained by volcanic activity or atmospheric chemistry alone. Soviet atmospheric chemist Mikhail Zolotov noted that the phosphine readings were accompanied by other unusual chemical signatures, including unexpected hydrogen sulfide patterns and organic compound distributions that defied standard atmospheric models. The data suggested that something in Venus's clouds was actively producing phosphine at rates faster than atmospheric breakdown could destroy it. Even more intriguing, the phosphine concentrations showed temporal variations. They weren't constant, but fluctuated in patterns that resembled biological cycles. This discovery remained buried in Soviet scientific literature for decades, largely overlooked by Western scientists who were focused on Mars exploration. But the implications were staggering. If the Soviet data was accurate, Venus's atmosphere might harbor active biological processes that had been generating phosphine for millions of years. The surface geology anomalies. The final Soviet Venus missions in the 1980s revealed surface features that really challenged our conventional understanding of planetary geology. Venera 15 and Venera 16 used radar mapping to penetrate Venus's thick atmosphere and image the surface from orbit, revealing these massive geological structures that, honestly, just defied explanation. The radar data showed circular formations up to hundreds of kilometers wide that looked like impact craters, but they had internal structures that were way too organized to be random. Soviet planetary geologist Alexander Vasilevsky identified over 900 impact craters across Venus's surface, but a lot of those showed some really strange features, central peaks, radial patterns, and rim modifications that actually suggested active geological processes. Even more puzzling were these tessellated terrain formations, complex polygonal patterns that covered millions of square kilometers and seemed to be actively maintained, rather than just ancient geological features. The Venera orbiters also detected atmospheric disturbances above certain surface features, suggesting there was active outgassing from specific geological formations. Some Soviet scientists even theorized that Venus might have subsurface water reservoirs that occasionally reached the surface through volcanic activity, creating temporary habitable zones in an otherwise super hostile environment. These geological anomalies raise some big questions about whether Venus's interior might harbor conditions suitable for extremophile organisms, kind of like those found in Earth's deep crustal environments. The modern reanalysis. In 2020, international scientists took another look at decades-old Soviet atmospheric data and made a pretty shocking discovery. The phosphine signatures detected by Vega balloons weren't measurement errors, but actual atmospheric phenomena. Dr. Jane Greaves at Cardiff University used the James Clerk Maxwell telescope to detect phosphine in Venus's atmosphere, confirming what Soviet data had suggested 35 years earlier. The reanalysis of Venera atmospheric measurements revealed even more biosignatures that had been overlooked. ammonia concentrations, unusual water vapor distributions, and organic molecule patterns that really resembled biological processes. Modern atmospheric models have confirmed that Venus's cloud layers, at 50 to 60 kilometers altitude, actually have Earth-like temperature and pressure conditions where terrestrial microorganisms could potentially survive. NASA's Carl Sagan had theorized about aerial life on Venus way back in 1967, but it was Soviet atmospheric data that provided the first real evidence that such life might actually exist. The phosphine discovery sparked renewed interest in Venus exploration, with multiple space agencies planning new missions to search for life in the planet's clouds. Recent computer modeling of Soviet atmospheric data suggests that Venus's middle atmosphere contains all the chemical elements necessary for life: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur, in concentrations that could support aerial ecosystems. The Soviet missions may have discovered the first evidence of extraterrestrial life without even realizing it. The modern reanalysis. The Soviet legacy at Venus continues to shape modern astrobiology research and future mission planning. NASA's Da Vinci Plus and ESA's Envision missions scheduled for the 2030s are going to specifically target the atmospheric layers where Soviet probes detected those unusual chemical signatures. These new missions will carry advanced spectrometers and atmospheric analyzers designed to definitively determine whether phosphine and other biosignature gases actually indicate active biological processes in Venus's clouds. Private companies like Rocket Lab are also developing atmospheric probe missions specifically to search for aerial microorganisms in Venus's temperate cloud layers. The discovery of extremophile organisms in Earth's most hostile environments, from deep ocean thermal vents to highly acidic volcanic lakes, has shown us that life can exist in conditions we once thought were impossible. Venus's clouds contain sulfuric acid, but Earth organisms like acidithiobacillus bacteria thrive in similar acidic environments. Modern astrobiologists now theorize that Venus's ancient oceans may have supported life for billions of years before the runaway greenhouse effect drove organisms into the atmosphere. If confirmed, aerial life on Venus would represent the first discovery of extraterrestrial biology and would totally validate 30 years of Soviet atmospheric research. The implications would be profound, proving that life can adapt to the most extreme planetary conditions and could potentially exist throughout the galaxy in ways we never even imagined possible. So there you have it. The Soviet Union may have discovered the first evidence of extraterrestrial life decades before anyone realized it. Which discovery shocked you the most about Venus exploration? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed uncovering this hidden scientific history, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves real space discoveries, and don't forget to subscribe to Sci and Why for more mind-blowing revelations about our incredible universe. Until next time, keep questioning what we think we know about life in space.